What's poppin' and welcome back to Maxify Seminar.
Today we are reviewing Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, this movie is pretty much a sequel and a retry at the original Space Jam.
This time around, it stars LeBron James as himself, as the NBA All-Star guy who
teams up with the Looney Tunes characters to defeat and defend Earth from a
otherworldly type threat.
Yeah.
So, this is very much a reboot of that original 1996 film, but it also tries to kind of reinvent itself, and it's hard to even start this review because I did not like this movie.
Neither did I.
Yeah, it's no secret that this is not the greatest film, and certainly the original one wasn't that much better, but this is a significant step down. And the reason for this is, well, first of all, let me just say, I have a tremendous amount of respect for filmmakers and for the people who make movies because they are able to make movies. That is an intensely hard process. As we both know from doing our own shorts, making a feature is an incredibly hard thing to do. And so I try in my reviews to have the utmost respect for filmmakers because I know there was always someone who really wanted to get every movie made, you would think. But this movie, it seems like the people who really wanted to get this made were the Warner Brothers marketing team. Because this movie is a 2-hour and 12-minute ad for Warner Brothers.
It is. And there's like tons and tons of self-promotion in this movie. You can see posters for Scoob. You can see stuff about the Wizard of Oz in this movie.
This film is incredibly self-serving, and that is basically all it is, too. Is just here to promote Warner Brothers properties and to, I guess, remind people what Warner Brothers own, because this is like, it's just a straight up display of what types of things they own. It's not like it all culminates into some like spectacular crossover event, even like how happened in Ready Player One, where Warner Brothers also mashed in a lot of their properties.
They did that a bit more cleverly though in Ready Player One.
Yeah, and it was there for a purpose in Ready Player One, because that was a giant spectacle with all these different characters coming together and you would never see anywhere else. Here in Space Jam: A New Legacy, it's more like just showcasing the characters, just flexing what they have on other studios.
I think a reason for that is because Disney, obviously Disney Plus, and they have a way to just put all their movies out there and show it.
And Warner Brothers stuck in this corner of HBO Max where they don't own the whole thing, but they have all their properties on there.
Exactly.
So I think it very much is a response to maybe what Disney did with Ralph Breaks the Internet, where they went into like the Disney site and showcased their different characters. That was a small portion of Wreck-It Ralph 2. But it wasn't the whole movie.
Yeah, this whole movie was pretty much about... It was just about Warner Brothers and how they have so many things.
Yeah, and certainly the first Space Jam was a little bit self-promotional, especially promoting Jordan as this incredible basketball player. But it never mentioned Warner Brothers, and I think in this film, in Space Jam 2, the name Warner Brothers is maybe mentioned more times than the name basketball.
So, although it is bad, there's not really anything to go on. Like, the first Space Jam, it was okay, and that's how I feel about this one. It was okay. But I think that's just because, well, there's multiple reasons. One of the reasons is the main actor isn't an actor. So that can hinder the movie a bit. Another reason is I just don't really understand why they needed to make this movie. The first one, it was okay, it worked. I think it was kind of a success, but they didn't need to make a sequel 25 years later or whatever.
And that is an interesting point, because absolutely this movie did not need to be made. And so when you really think about the purpose of this movie, especially with what we were talking about before, it seems like they're resurrecting the Space Jam property for the sole intent of having a movie to just showcase their properties.
One thing that was very good in this movie, aside from all the, showcasing of Warner Brothers,
And of course LeBron James acting.
the visual effects in this movie were pretty outstanding. Like, the CG in this movie, it was, composited very well. The lighting was great. It was pretty much seamless.
It was pretty breathtaking most of the time. Like, when it wanted to be, I think this was some of the best CGI I've seen in a long time.
And I think Warner Brothers spends a big budget doing that, because the VFX in Ready Player One were also really good.
Well, yes, the VFX are really good in this film, but I don't think they're anywhere near as groundbreaking as the VFX in that original film. When it was 1996, Who Framed Roger Rabbit obviously did come before Space Jam 1, but still, Space Jam's integration of live action characters into a cartoon setting was very impressive.
And it's really hard to do unless you have today's modern tools.
Yeah. So I think if there was one highlight from this film, it was the VFX, but even the VFX aren't quite living up to the name of the original one.
So as we said, there was a lot of Warner Brothers promotion in this movie.
Yeah, and speaking of redeemable qualities in this, the trying to spot Easter eggs was very fun.
Yeah, there were a ton of Easter eggs. Not necessarily for self-promotion, but there was probably an Easter egg in every scene. People from Batman could be spotted in some scenes. The Wizard of Oz characters.
Characters from the Wizard of Oz.
The Scooby-Doo gang.
Characters. More obscure characters too. Characters we didn't recognize. Characters from, I'm pretty sure characters from the Clockwork Orange. Someone in a devil costume, not sure who that was. But this was definitely the highlight of the movie for me, because the Easter egg hunting got to a point where I was more interested in looking in the background than I was in the actual climax of the movie. So I guess it can become a little distracting, but it was fun to do, for sure. Overall, I think Space Jam 2 was kind of a cringy attempt at retrying the Space Jam formula.
And I think that's probably because it's targeted for younger audiences, but we just thought it was kind of just I don't know.
It's really just a waste of time, is how I see it. It really pains me to know that this film has done so well. So many people have gone to see this movie in theaters when something like Pig came out the exact same day and is performing a lot less. When that is a film that has artistic value to it, that has emotional value to it, where you can go out of the theater feeling changed and not come out of the theater feeling like you just watched a feature-length ad for a studio.
Well, I think the reason, see, Spaceballs really,
Space Jam.
Space Jam really used its name to get a Lego.
Yeah.
Like,
It used a nostalgia hook.
yeah, exactly. So all the parents are going, let's go see Space Jam.
Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, the marketing is very much pushing towards young audiences, like very young audiences. So you get a lot of people in the theaters.
And a lot more just people watching Warner Brothers overall.
Mm-hmm.
Because the kids will see the ads in the movies and be like, we should go see Scoob, or, things like that.
Yeah, but to sum it up, it is basically an overlong commercial with really obvious message and a lot of self-promotion. I am going to give my final rating for Space Jam: A New Legacy, thumbs down, 0 stars.
I'm gonna give it a thumb sideways, 1 star.
That's fair.
I thought it was okay, but it wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, I think it was passable. I mean, it is a movie. It kept us entertained a little bit with looking for background stuff, for sure. So, I've been Max.
I've been Blake.
This has been Maxify Seminar. And we'll see you in the next one.